Welcome, adventurers, to the Dangers and Dragons podcast.
Ooh.
All right, so get ready because today we're diving into a really unique and potentially perilous story where art and shadow intertwine
Yeah.
to create some seriously unexpected and honestly terrifying consequences.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be talking about the kind of volatile mix of creativity, ambition,
Right.
and the dangers that can lurk beneath the surface of imagination. And to help us kind of unpack these crucial insights
Yeah.
and maybe even find a bit of dark humor in the shadows
Absolutely.
is our resident lore master, Julia.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome.
Always a pleasure to delve into these
Oh, yeah.
creatively catastrophic tales, the kind that make you look at your own doodles with a little bit of caution,
Right.
I'm here to help us understand the deeper currents and the potential hazards,
Right, good.
when we as creators or even just observers engage with art and imagination.
Absolutely. And before we get into this shadowy saga, a quick word to our fantastic listeners out there. If you're enjoying these weekly plunges into the weird, the wondrous, and the occasionally terrifying, please do rate and follow the Dangers and Dragons podcast wherever you get your audio adventures.
Yes.
Your support fuels our quest to bring these legendary and sometimes chilling stories to life.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Julia, let's step into the shadows of our tale. Today's narrative centers around an artist driven by a powerful ambition who discovers a way to bring their creations to life through manipulating shadows.
Right.
Now, we're not talking illusions.
Right.
This is about the real blurring of lines between beauty and ultimately destruction.
Yes.
And what really stands out to me is how the artist's ambition acts as this catalyst, unleashing something terrifying that spirals completely out of control.
Oh, for sure. And what I find really interesting is that fundamental yearning.
Yeah.
That desire to transcend the static nature of art, to breathe life into the inanimate. That's a dream that I think resonates with many artists. That desire to break free from the two-dimensional,
Right.
And as we often see, that yearning can unlock some pretty dangerous realms. Shadows, after all, have always held a powerful symbolism.
Yes.
This connection to the hidden, the unknown. When our artist starts engaging with them, it's a step into uncharted territory.
Exactly. It starts with this gradual discovery of this power within shadow.
Right.
Almost like a subtle gesture. And a painted apple seems to pulse.
Right.
A bird flutters in the air.
Yeah.
At first, the public is captivated.
Oh, of course.
But they completely misinterpret what's happening.
Yeah.
They see it as a trick of the light, a clever performance.
It must be a clever mechanism.
Right, which I guess speaks to our human tendency to kind of seek logical explanations.
Absolutely.
Even when we're faced with something extraordinary.
Yeah. We always want a mundane reason for it, right? It highlights that comfort we have with the explainable, even when something totally paradigm-shifting is happening right in front of us.
Right.
It must be an optical illusion. And that desire for a rational explanation,
Yeah.
even when faced with magic.
Yeah.
It allows the artist to kind of continue down this perilous path
Oh, yeah.
without any scrutiny or intervention.
Yeah. It's almost like a collective blindness.
The collective blindness, for sure.
And continue they do.
Yeah.
The nights become these intense periods of creation. The source material even describes these paintings as like trembling thresholds, like this boundary between the painted world and reality.
Oh, wow.
Sculptures subtly shift and flex,
Right.
almost developing this unsettling semblance of life.
Oh, I see.
The artist's studio goes through this transformation from a sanctuary of creative energy into, and this is a quote, more of a cage for the half alive.
Ooh.
That phrase is so powerful, isn't it?
Yes.
Because it's like this workspace becomes a prison, not just for these animated works, but for the artist's own growing fear and isolation.
That's a really evocative image.
Right.
The artist becoming a warden of their own unsettling creations.
Yes.
And that growing sense of isolation. It feels like the artist is venturing further and further away from the familiar world into a domain that's ominous and uncontrollable.
Right.
It makes you wonder,
Yeah.
as creators in any field, do we ever really consider the potential life our creations might take on?
That's a great question.
And what responsibility do we have towards them?
And then comes this pivotal moment, the commission from the senator.
Okay.
Now, this isn't just a landscape. This is a portrait of a powerful figure, a man with a stern face and eyes, holding the cold gleam of polished marble.
Hmm.
Even the shadows react to him differently. They quiver.
I see.
The artist feels uneasy.
Right.
And I think this really underscores how certain individuals, those embodying strong and potentially dark energy,
Yeah.
can act as catalysts in unforeseen ways.
Yes, the portrait. This is where it all kind of goes wrong, right?
Yeah.
You have this subject, the senator,
Right.
who just embodies this cold, ruthless ambition.
Mm-hmm.
And that darkness seems to accelerate the artist's shadow manipulation.
Yeah.
It's really insightful how this ability seems to amplify the inner qualities of its subjects, which obviously has some negative consequences.
Right.
It makes you think that art, especially when it uses shadow, can be like a mirror,
Yeah.
reflecting not just appearances, but inner truth.
Absolutely. And so when the portrait is finished, it doesn't just hang there. It starts to pulse with, and I'm quoting here, a mocking echo of it.
Wow.
There's this cruelty on the lips, this hunger in the eyes that seems to have developed from the shadows of the canvas.
It's like the shadows have a life of their own.
Right. By nightfall, the senator in the portrait breaks free.
Oh, wow.
But the source makes this distinction that it's not the man, but the monstrous ambition birthed from his darkness that emerges.
So it's like the portrait is reflecting the darkest parts of the senator.
Exactly. And it's this abstract force that the artist has inadvertently given form to.
It raises the question of whether art can truly capture the essence of someone,
Yeah.
including their darkest secrets, and what happens when that captured essence gets a life of its own.
Oh, that's scary.
It's like the artist gave a vessel to the senator's inner demons.
Yeah.
That makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How often does the art we see or create reflect hidden parts of ourselves or others?
And the other creations in the gallery, they sense this shift.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the painted lark that was so beautiful?
Mm-hmm.
Now it flutters in terror just from the portrait's outstretched hand.
Oh, wow.
This animated senator moves through the studio like a predator set loose in a world of prey.
Mm-hmm.
The atmosphere changes completely.
That's terrifying.
It goes from creative energy to just dread.
It's crazy how one bad thing can just ruin a whole environment.
It really is.
It's like that intrusion of darkness corrupts everything. It instills fear where there was once harmony. The joy of creation is completely gone.
Right.
Replaced by this fear of what's been unleashed. It's like
Right.
the shadows themselves have become malevolent. They're
Right.
not tools anymore.
Yeah.
They're autonomous forces with their own agenda.
Oh.
It makes you think about how easily negativity or power can disrupt creative spaces.
Absolutely. Then comes the confrontation.
Uh-oh.
The painted senator turns to the artist, and the sneer on his face, it deepens.
Yikes.
He talks about the artist's rare talent and such potential,
Right.
but his intentions are not good. He reaches for the artist's throat.
Oh, no.
And here's where the story gets truly disturbing.
Uh-oh.
The touch isn't flesh and blood.
Oh, wow.
It's this horrifying sensation of canvas, suffocating, trapping me inside the very art I was so desperate to unleash.
That's awful. It's like being consumed by your own creation.
And in that moment, the artist has this realization. It's not just a physical struggle. It's this understanding of their own folly.
It's that classic story of hubris, reaching too far and being punished.
The artist says, I was no maestro, but a foolish child playing with forces too vast to comprehend.
A hard lesson to learn.
Each shadow, they realize, had this cruelty I wasn't yet monstrous enough to control.
That's deep. It's like a warning about ambition without wisdom.
The end is swift. The artist's last vision is of the lark trapped under the senator's heel. And then there's this detail. Not a splash of color, but a smear of crimson on the pristine floor.
That's chilling.
It foreshadows the artist's fate.
It does.
The aftermath is so ironic.
How so?
The news reports a tragic accident, suffocation.
Oh, wow.
The senator offers condolences, praising the artist and saying it was an unfortunate inability to handle the brilliance of my own creation.
Oh, the irony. He's so self-serving.
He is.
It's like a classic power move.
It really is.
Manipulating the narrative to benefit himself.
Totally.
Completely ignoring what really happened.
Yeah.
It shows you the danger of letting powerful people control the story.
Oh.
Right.
And why it's so important to look for the hidden details.
But there is one final act of rebellion. A detail missed by everyone else.
What is it?
On the shadow puppet, the one that's now hanging on the senator's wall, there's a single tear on the lark's cheek.
Oh, wow.
The text says, A subtle twist of the brush, my final act of rebellion, a plea for a vengeance that would never be mine.
That's powerful. That single tear says so much.
Doesn't it?
It's like a symbol of defiance, a reminder of the truth.
Yeah.
Even in defeat, the artist leaves a message behind.
Right.
It makes you think about how impactful even small acts of resistance can be. So, Julia, looking at this through your lore master lens, what echoes do you see in fantasy lore?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is the golem.
Oh, yeah.
Or any being that turns against its creator.
Right.
That's a common theme across cultures. The idea that giving life to something inanimate can go very wrong.
Right.
It's like a Faustian bargain.
Yeah.
That ambition leading to destruction. And there's this danger in trying to control something as unpredictable as shadow.
Yeah.
It's like a reminder that some power isn't meant to be wielded.
Absolutely. It's as though the shadows have a mind of their own.
Yeah, almost like they amplify the darkness inside people.
Right. And the artist trying to command them is playing with fire.
For sure.
And, from a lore master perspective, it's kind of funny that there are no safety protocols in dealing with shadow art.
Right. Like no one thought to put a warning label on the shadow paint.
Exactly.
It's humorous, but it does highlight the need for caution when dealing with powerful forces.
It makes you think, when we create something new,
Yeah.
are we ever really in control?
That's the question, isn't it? Can we ever fully predict the consequences of our actions?
Right.
Do we have a responsibility to think about the potential for darkness in our creations?
It's a heavy thought, but important.
It is.
So as you ponder these questions, we encourage you to revisit this story. Maybe even explore other narratives about art and the unknown.
And remember, everyone,
Yeah.
while we sometimes look at the darker side of things, we're always trying to learn, think, and have fun.
Absolutely.
So keep creating, but watch out for those shadows.
Thank you for joining us on this shadowy exploration here on the Dangers and Dragons podcast. Until next time, farewell. And don't forget to rate and follow for more captivating tales.